Hey there, Clue Crew. Ariana from Curlmeister Sisters here, bringing you my top 5 most insufferable bosses. Special thanks to Elise, not giving you my last name, from YouTube for the suggestion. Albeit I think you meant for it to be podcast topic, but I stole it for this video. What you gonna do about it? Nancy Drew ends up working for all kinds of people. Sometimes there are people who hired her to investigate. Sometimes there are people who hired her before there was something to investigate. Sometimes there are people she has to pretend to work for in order to investigate. And sometimes they're the most obnoxious people in the world. This list is about the latter of those 4. Let's start with number 5, Dr. Quigley Kim, Creature of Kapu Cave. It should definitely be noted that the absolute worst thing about Dr. Kim is her voice.
What are you talking about?
Stop. Point is, her level of insufferability is raised significantly every time she speaks. And the way she says things, the way she talks, you'd think Nancy isn't doing anything. Yes, Quigley did a lot of research. Well, we assume she did and isn't just basing this off the research of a former intern. But she sits up in a tree doing exactly no work while we as Nancy weigh bug poop.
You mean the stuff in those jars came from caterpillars? Of course, they're frass jars.
She is so rude and demanding. I know that's how some bosses are, but those bosses probably don't sound like someone doing a terrible Fran Drescher impression.
Makes me sound very nasal for some strange reason.
Buying drinks sound classy.
See, huge.
Oh my god.
Moving on. Number 4, Viktor Lawsuit, the deadly device. It is obvious from the get-go that Viktor is the bad guy. Oops. Spoilers? Anyway, he is. And it isn't just evident because he looks exactly like Jeff Bridges in Iron Man.
Possible. Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with a box of scraps.
Obviously, he hired us to throw the scent off himself, and in the hopes that we would suck at, having eyeballs because anyone can see he's the guy who did it. But he can't even keep up the charade well enough because he's too busy condescending and trying to bully his detective. He's the kind of guy you want to poke him in the eye. Although that's pretty gratifying too. Number 3, Manette, Danger by Design. People label Manette as crazy when talking about this game, but she's not. What she is a spoiled child who has been told she's special so many times that she believes herself to be the most important person in the universe. So she gets away with temper tantrums.
Manette, don't!
She refuses to work unless she has the highest score at a game. I want to be joking. This is what she actually does. And she gives Nancy the dumbest descriptors of objects she supposedly needs to inspire her. Her tea recipes are written up based on random things about Manette that might change from day to day. And Manette seems painfully ignorant of what these recipes entail, because a normal person would be able to go, self-evaluate, and think, I guess I'm left-handed today. Okay, we're making this tea. It's a fun puzzle for the game, in my opinion, but for a human being, it is infuriating. At the end of the day, she's just a sad, spoiled brat who has no way of actually functioning in the adult world.
Life is so unfair, and so horribly unrude.
Number 2, Johanna Riggs, Secret of the Scarlet Hand. I'm sorry. I'm just going to come out and say it. Johanna Riggs is the most irresponsible curator ever. Let's start with the fact that she takes this inexperienced 19-year-old intern, one she clearly resents and thinks will mess things up because she only got the intern position because of her dad, and she leaves this kid alone to go into cases where there are very old Mayan artifacts, all by herself, no supervision. And what if she decides to handle the artifacts without gloves, getting her body oils all over them? What if she'd broken something because she hasn't taken courses on handling artifacts? Yeah, there are courses you have to take. As the game progresses, Nancy has to take on more and more responsibilities. These are things which should be done by a trained professional. Johanna looks at this intern, with whom she has spent no time teaching about how these things work, and goes, "Yeah, I need you to do these things, and I need them done right." It takes years to learn how to do the things Nancy's asked to do, to use the items she's asked to use. And anytime we go to ask Johanna anything, we get,
Henrik can help you with that. Afraid I can't help you there. Who knows?
Johanna is so cavalier with the well-being of the objects in the museum and her unpaid intern. She drives me up the walls. And that brings us to number 1.
That does it. Nancy, you have to find out who or what is behind these incidents, and you have to do it fast.
Chantal Malik, White Wolf of Icicle Creek. I'm totally with you, Elise. Chantal she's just plain awful. Most of her problems stem from the fact that she shouldn't be in charge of anything. Ever. You get the feeling she's never really worked a day in her life. Let's start with her hiring us to investigate the issues and then springing this on us.
Oh, and Nancy, I want you to call this police detective I've hired as a consultant. In fact, I think you know him. Tino Balducci?
Tino Balducci.
So she hires one detective and then goes out and hires another detective? One who can't even be there? Not only that, but she hires the equally insufferable Tino Balducci. Tino Balducci from Last Train to Blue Moon Canyon.
Tino Balducci. Remember me? From that last train to Blue Moon Canyon we went on?
Yeah, Tino. That's what I just said. So we're forced to consult with this lazy detective who doesn't actually have any idea what he's doing. But if we don't check in with him, Chantal gets out on our case, saying we have to call him. And let's not forget, she almost entirely admits to hiring him because she has a thing for him, which... Ew. And, of course, when we get there, we find out that both the chef and the maid aren't there, so guess what? That's right. Chantal thinks it would be super convenient for us to fit in cleaning the rooms and preparing 3 meals a day, in between finding out who is sabotaging her resort. And if you miss a meal or don't clean, you get pulled aside to be lectured. When you could be working on the investigation. And if you miss enough, you're kicked off the case. I've got an idea, lady. Maybe you should just actually run your freaking resort and let me do the job I was actually hired to do. Okay, no, I'm okay. I'm better now. I'm fine. So that's it for this video. Do you agree with my choices, or do you have suggestions that made your blood pressure go as high as mine did while compiling this list? Let me know in the comments what you think and maybe where I got things wrong. Like and subscribe if you want more videos like this, and don't forget to check out our Cruelmeister Sisters podcast. For more Clue Crew content, go to our Tumblr at cruelmeistersisters.tumblr.com. Once again, I'm Ariana, and I'll catch you later, Super Sleuths.